Hey everybody! Oh, I forgot to turn my light on again. Today I just stayed in my work clothes, so I hope y'all forgive me for that. I was too tired to change out of them. But today we are playing a brand new game. It just came out in, I believe, September, actually, called Beacon Pines. Which is supposed to be a mystery game, not really like a choose your own adventure, but sort of like a almost like a puzzle game. I'm not sure where we're gonna put like the camera and stuff yet, because I don't know what parts of the screen I'm gonna need. I work in an OR, so hence the scrubs, but also hence the fun colors. Nurses have to wear royal blue here. All right, it says continue. So this is our first time loading up the game. But, oh, it meant A. Got it. I think that was the game. It says Dear Reader. Oh, it has its own voice acting. Okay. No, I'm not a surgeon, unfortunately. Can y'all hear that okay? I can turn it up. I'm gonna turn it up just a smidge. Because there's a lot of sound going on and voice acting, so I don't want to talk over that too much.
The story that awaits you has not been fully told. In fact, its conclusion is not yet known, even to myself.
Okay.
It is in that way that my book is special. It is in that way that you are special.
I do work in the OR, yes. There's a lot of things you can do in an OR.
About you, there is no story. Chapter 1. Normal isn't what it used to be.
Okay.
This is a story about change. Nestled in a shallow valley is the town of Beacon Pines.
So apparently the overarching like plot and the things we have to do in this game is that we have to find words to be able to change what's going on in the story.
Far from the town square, across the river, past the neglected welcome sign, a young boy walks alone at dawn.
Oh, look at him.
His name is Luca Van Horn, and like
Luca?
you,
Okay.
dear reader, he's here for a reason.
Do we get to be Luca Van Horn? Oh, we are. Hey, look, I'm Luca. Nope. It's a whole team of people. In an OR, you have many different people who actually make it work. I'll tell you about it sometime. Can I do anything else? Or just that little spot right there? Alright. Oh, is this a grave? Oh. Hey Dad, how are things going? Today's the first day of summer vacation. I start middle school next year, I guess. Oh, little baby boy. I was 6 years old when you died. And it's been 6 years now. From here on out, you'll have been gone longer than you were here. It feels like that should mean something. Mom always said that this tree was your favorite spot in the world. Me too. Aww. A sad start. Hey, Luca. I knew I'd find you here.
Rollo was Luca's closest
I
friend.
probably shouldn't give him that voice. I don't know what voice we're gonna give him.
He possessed many fine qualities, but subtlety was not one of them.
Let's give him a southern twang. That's what we'll do. Well, after I banged on your door till your gran answered, and after I checked the pond, and climbed up the tree house, then I knew I'd find you here.
Rollo finally noticed the tears swelling in his friend's eyes, and the flowers on the grave.
Aw, Rollo. Oh, yeah, right. You and your mom always did this on your dad's birthday. Yeah. I didn't know if you were going to keep doing that now that your mom's gone too. His mom's gone too. Y'all. We're playing as a little orphan boy. This is so sad. Rolo, please. Just dropping all this info on us. I'm not sure how much more we can turn it up, but I will do my best. Hopefully that's a little louder for y'all. Oh no, I'm stuck in his accent. So the audio doesn't increase for me when I increase it for y'all. So I'm not sure how loud it is for y'all. She's not gone. Wait, is she not dead? She's just missing. Dang. Okay, so his dad has been dead half of his entire life, and now his mom is missing. Just straight up missing. That is really sad. I'm hoping that finding her is like the point of the game, but hydrate for the tears. I'm not crying yet. Luca's crying, almost. Sorry, I meant to say since she went missing. She's gonna come back, Rolo. Yeah, Rolo. Of course she is. Rolo, you're so mean. Okay, Dad. See you next time. Oof. I think I'm ready to get out of here. Sure, lead the way. Rolo, why you gotta make such sadness in my life? Okay. All right, we got a little field here. Oh, look, we're scattering the flowers. Oh. That was cute. Ooh. B. This seems to be like a one controller kind of thing.
Wonderful. I had a good feeling about you from the moment you opened my book.
Okay.
That charm is a very special thing. Very special indeed. Keep hold of it for now.
You got it, book lady.
Its purpose will reveal itself soon enough.
Okay. All right. So I assume, gathered our first word. But they're called charms. We learned the charm tickle. I'm trying to get rid of all of these flowers before they spawn again, but it's not working very well. I don't know if there is a way to get rid of all of them before they respawn. I probably shouldn't be doing this, but it seemed like a fun idea at the time. Okay, I give up. I'm not going to be able to strip all of these bald, so we'll just give up on that. Okay, so we found our first word by literally just running through some flowers, so that's kind of neat. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. The whole reason I was looking for you. I was wondering if you'd ever get to that. I found the perfect way to start our summer. How's that?
Rolo looked to the side suspiciously.
Suspiciously. Not here. They might be watching. They? They who? Shh! Not so loud. We need to do this in a secure location. Mission control. Alright, I just have to tell Gran and then we can head out. What are you gonna tell her? I don't know, I'll think of something. If it's all the same to you, I'll meet you at the welcome sign. Your Gran still kind of wigs me out. I don't do well with new people. She moved in like half a year ago. Just meet me at the sign when you're done. Suit yourself, I won't be long. Interesting. Alright, we got a mission. Nice. Can we find any more words while we're at it? Oh, I jumped. Look at that. Jump, 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 jump. We're frolicking, chat. Look at that. That is really cute. I really like the art style in this game.
Dear reader, forgive me for this interlude.
Okay.
Remember that charm you found in the dandelion patch?
Yeah.
There are more of those special charms to discover throughout Beacon Pines.
Strange Rollo looks like an adult, and the animal you're playing looks like a kid. It's probably his species. I have a feeling that Luca is supposed to be a deer, so they're like smaller, more slender. And I think Rollo's supposed to be some kind of dog. Like a bit chunkier, maybe. That, or maybe Rollo is older. Just kind of sketch. We know from context that our main character is 12. Because he said that his dad died when he was 6, and then it's been 6 years since then. So, we're at least 12, but I don't know how old Rollo is yet.
They've been known to reveal themselves to those who are willing.
So are these words that she's saying right now, or whoever the narrator is that loud enough for you guys?
Some of them can be found in this very house. Luca knew that if he left without telling Gran, it would be trouble.
Okay, interesting. Alright, so Gran's somewhere in the house, but there are words in the house.
Moved in, the house was more peaceful, more orderly, and more covered in flowery fabric.
Yep, we did say something about being in middle school at Dad's grave, so we're a little preteen, not quite a teenager yet.
Stethoscopes.
Oh. Interesting. So Dad had a stethoscope.
Luca had spent countless hours listening to anything and everything with it. Not for years, though.
I wonder if Dad was like a doctor that got sick. Or he was in some kind of accident.
She kept a warm house, as if by grandmotherly obligation.
Uh-oh. Ponder. Okay. We just slid off the couch. That was cute. So far, this seems to be a really cute game. It's supposed to have some like mystery elements and stuff. So I imagine it's not necessarily going to be like spooky or anything, but maybe like a little thrilling. Is there an upstairs? Oh, there is an upstairs.
Luca paused at his parents' bedroom door. He just wasn't ready to go in yet.
Okay, is this my door?
Gran had commandeered the upstairs closet when she moved in.
I'm doing well, how are you?
Some things need shelter from a young boy's mischief, she said.
Oh, interesting. So we're just kind of, at this point, looking around the house to try to find different words. It looks like us and Gran maybe live in the same
Luca
room.
tossed on his favorite old sweater. Even though it was the first day of summer, a chill still hung in the air.
Interesting. I think we're going to be pretty good at finding
Luca's things had been crammed in the corner.
words, because I'm really interested in like picking at every little thing.
Luca was somewhat annoyed by the situation.
Your tummy's a bit sore. Uh-oh. Well, hopefully you get some good food that's a little gentle on your tummy. And you get to feeling better.
Gran's bed was undisturbed.
Hmm.
Luca didn't mind that she had a habit of falling asleep in front of the fireplace. It meant that he could read late into the night.
Interesting. So our character is definitely a bookworm. They like to read. And Grandma usually falls asleep by the fire. Okay. Is there anything else in here? Probably not. Okay. We've looked at everything in the upstairs because it won't let us go anywhere else up here other than his bedroom. So it is good that once you look at a thing, it kind of like takes away from interacting with that thing again, because I have a habit of forgetting what we've already interacted with. So, where is Grandma? He really is. Where is our grandmother?
Of prepared meals crowded the refrigerator,
Okay.
each labeled with the day of the week.
Okay. So Grandma meal preps.
A pair of dull scissors, a broken can opener, a mostly empty bottle of glue, and some loose string.
I wonder if that will come... Junk! Okay. I was gonna say, I wonder if that'll come in handy, like we're gonna need some of that. But it seems less like a point-and-click adventure game. Can I turn it off? Oh. I just press A and it turns back off. Okay. What happens if I just let it run? Can I take the junk out of the drawer and put it in the sink? Nope. All I can do is turn it on. Okay. What do we got in here?
The only piece of furniture Gran had brought when she moved in was an old hutch.
I thought so, but it wouldn't really let me do anything. An old hutch. Okay, so this hutch thing here is apparently the only thing Grandma brought with her. So things like her bed and all the chairs and all the couches, all of that already existed. That's interesting. So far, I'm not seeing Grandma.
Oh my, this is quite exciting. I am now certain that you are the one I've been waiting for all these years.
Okay. No worries. I'll try to keep turning it on to a minimum. I am now certain that you're the one I'm waiting for.
You'll
Okay.
recall I was a bit coy regarding the use of charms earlier.
Yeah.
Excuse me. I tend to have a flair for the dramatic.
You are a narrator.
You are about to encounter your first turning point.
Interesting.
There are
Okay.
certain times in this tale when everything hinges on a single word.
Okay.
Step forth, dear reader.
Interesting.
A sturdy old wheelbarrow.
Too late? That's okay.
Young Luca would spend hours hiding in the bushes, waiting for a chance to jump out and startle his mother.
Oh.
She always enjoyed humoring him by feigning terror.
Aw. Okay. So it seems like we're about to have a big decision to make. So I think that'll be neat to see how that works. Okay, we have Grandma, we have a book here.
A beginner's guide to gardening laid open on the bench.
Okay. I'm assuming our first word has to do with Grandma. So something we say is going to interact with Grandma, I guess. Let's see how this works. Hey, Gran, I'm gonna go hang with Rolo for the rest of the day. See you later. Okay, we did the thing. Hold up now. Wow, okay. Hold up now. Where are you and Rolo headed exactly? I don't know any grandmas that sound like that. Where are you and Rolo headed exactly? Oh, nowhere special.
The less Gran knew, the better for everyone involved.
We were just gonna go blank for the day. Huh. Ponder for the day, hide for the day, or chill for the day. Chill for the day.
We were just gonna go chill for the day. The best lies are built on truth.
You boys are always in a hurry to do nothing. We stick to what we're good at. Well, make sure you're done chilling in time for supper.
Easy.
We did it, chat.
Impressive. You've managed to navigate your first turning point without too much of a mess. That is
Nice.
the power of charms.
Okay.
A single word can change everything.
Aw. I'm sorry to hear that. honestly, all of my grandparents just talk like normal people. But I know that usually when people do a voice to make themselves seem older, they add that sort of, well, in my day kind of voice. And his grandma doesn't seem that old. Now, if it was his great grandma, maybe. But our boy is 12, so I have a feeling grandma's not that old.
I think it's time to introduce you to the Chronicle.
The Chronicle? What is this, a newspaper? All right.
The Chronicle is a record of the decisions you've made.
Oh, okay.
You can see the turning point, which has been revealed.
Mm-hmm.
At any time, you can use the Chronicle to go back and invoke different charms, creating new branches.
Interesting.
Luckily for us, this is the one and only turning point where the charms won't dramatically alter fate.
Your toe is fully healed, and the fair sent you some free tickets. That's awesome. Okay, so this turning point, even if we change the words, it won't alter it too much. So that's kind of cool.
It's the perfect opportunity to experiment with rewriting things.
So if we ever need to change it, it shouldn't be a problem. A grand jury. Okay, so if we tell her we're gonna go hide for the day, let's see what happens.
Just gonna go hide for the day.
The woman has been banned. Good. Hide.
Traditionally, when one is trying to hide something, they avoid literally using the word hide.
Yeah, I guess Rolo bet some other kids that we could beat them at hide and seek. Aren't you a little old for that? It's not like there's much else to do around here. Well, make sure you boys are done playing your little game in time for supper.
All's well that ends well.
Okay, so I'm assuming that Grandma's gonna say basically the same thing no matter what. But we can see that there's a different reaction based on what we say to Grandma. I want to see what happens if we use the third one. Might as well, right?
We were just gonna go ponder for the day.
Right? Oh, really? What are you boys going to ponder on such a lovely day, exactly?
This was Luca's chance to sell his alibi.
You know, big stuff, small stuff, medium, mostly medium pondering.
Nailed it.
Well, make sure you don't overburden yourself with a preponderance of pondering. Huh? Oh, forget it. Off with you now. Okay, I wonder if that was supposed to be like the right thing to do. So it doesn't really seem like that changes much, which is good. I don't think we're gonna need to come back to this. Oh, and Luca. You and Rolo stay out of trouble. I know, I know. Get into trouble with Rolo. Grandma, stay out of trouble. Us. Yeah, no problem. Also us. Mission is to get into trouble. We did try Chill. Chill was our first one. She told us to be done chilling in time for dinner. Come on, come on. Woo! Dang it, Rolo. Can I go this way instead?
The road leading to Beacon Pines was long and uninspiring. A sort of natural barrier for the impatient.
Interesting. Are there other words around here?
For a town that saw few visitors, the welcome was perhaps more grand than necessary.
We're trying to make sure that we don't miss any charms as we go along. You know the drill. Don't let anyone discover our secret path. Is he moonwalking into the forest? Okay.
Chapter 2.
All right. Chapter 2.
Welcome to Beacon Pines.
Okay.
For many years, this valley had been a small mining outpost. It wasn't until Sharper Valentine built his fertilizer company that Beacon Pines was established. Over the next 30 years, the town had grown and prospered. Until the Foul Harvest and his sudden death.
Oh my.
In the 6 years since, everyone was simply trying to get by.
Interesting. Okay, so something called the Foul Harvest happened 6 years ago. There was a fertilizer company that was established for 30 years. Everything grew and prospered. That guy died and our father died. Interesting. So our dad and the owner of the fertilizer company both died 6 years ago. Hey, Mr. Kerr. Well, hey there, pal.
Kerr was the CEO of Perennial Harvest Company.
Let's see if I can do like a... He's a CEO, so let's see if we can do like a used car salesman kind of voice.
He had become a fixture around town over the past few years. After the failing of Valentine Fertilizer, the town was hungry to welcome a new source of employment.
Interesting. Excited for the big festival? Oh, sure. Come on now, when I was your age, there was nothing more exciting than a town festival. The food, the music, the dancing. Sounds pretty alright. You're gosh darn right it is. I'm looking forward to letting off some steam myself. Make sure to invite all your little friends. I couldn't keep Rollo away if I tried. Excellent! Sorry, Luca, I've got to get back to the proverbial grindstone. Our harvest awaits and all that. Ho now! Left side's a little low. Interesting. Sorry, young Mr. Van Horn can't talk now. Very busy with preparations.
Mayor Augustus
Oh, he's talking to us. Got it.
was not
He's talking to
busy.
us. He was not busy. Oh, sorry, Gus. How many times do I... It's Mayor Valen.
Flustered, Gus instinctively loosened his tie.
Keep up the good work. I must briefly attend to a concerned citizen. Huh? It's nothing. Keep at it. Alright, what can the mayor of Beacon Pines do for you today? Oh, just saying hi, I guess. Well, good day to you, young Mr. Van Horn. I don't know why it felt like the right decision to give him just this really sad, depressed voice. Alright. What's with the bridge? Why are we so zoomed out? What is happening? Oh, okay. That was just a vantage point. Got it. Hey, it's a guy. He's sleeping. Hey, Mr. Sinclair.
Mr. Sinclair continued snoring and lifted one eyelid just enough to see who it was. A tactic he often used to avoid undesirable conversation.
Wow. Yoo-hoo, Mr. Sinclair. Bah, don't you see I'm sleeping, boy? How's the napping today? Crummy, as always. Used to have a perfectly nice view from here. Till Perennial Harvest put that monstrosity of a building in the way. Why don't you just move your chair a bit? Why should I be the one that moves? If it's a showdown they want, I ain't gonna be the one who blinks. It's easy, 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 easy. Alright. Looks like there's some kids there. Something going on here. Okay. Mr. Van Horn, do you have a moment? It's just Luca. Golly, I'm sorry. It's my first week at Perennial Harvest.
He pulled a pen from the pocket of his sweater vest and began to frantically jot something down on a clipboard.
Wonderful. It won't happen again. If we're going to be on a first-name basis, then you can call me Pete. Oh, nice to meet you, Pete. Sorry, what are you writing? Oh, just documenting. Gosh, it's exciting to be a part of something so darn special. You know, it's not just about a new fountains or phone booths. We're gonna change the world. Oh, excuse me, everybody. And it starts here in Beacon Pines. Isn't that amazing? Uh-huh. Anyway, I better get... Oh, that reminds me. We'd love to hear your thoughts. My thoughts? You bet. If we're gonna change this town, we need to get every detail right. That sounds intense. Ha ha ha. Changing the world is intense. So what do you say? Could you answer a few questions? Well, I guess if it's quick. Wonderful! Open to answering a few quick questions. One down. See, that's not hard, is it? Okay, we're going already. Question 2. What is something you love about Beacon Pines? I've never really thought about it before. Perfect! It's the only place I've lived. See, that wasn't so painful.
Pete stopped scribbling and glanced up from the clipboard.
Was it? I guess not. Huzzah! Our first 3 questions answered in record time. Are you literally writing down everything? Thank you so much for your time. I need to process these answers. We can save the rest of your thoughts for later. Okay. A harvest awaits. Bye, Pete. That was weird. Alright, we got 3 children. Come on, Andy, grab his wallet. I'm sorry, Iggy, I can't. Do it or we pound you. Yep. Yeah, but my mom said. Yeah, but. If I had a nickel for every yeah, but, I'd be the freaking king of nickels. Ain't that right, Tish? Yep. Oh my. Whose wallet are they grabbing? That's enough of that. Oh. Hey, Jetson. Is the line playing any tunes today? No bites this morning, I'm afraid. Come to think of it, I can't remember the last time I reeled one in. But hey, it was never about the catch. This is where I come to think. That's what my dad used to do here. That reminds me. If you ever want his chair back, I've taken to standing recently. Keeps me from falling asleep at the reel. If you don't mind, I think it should stay. Not at all. An empty chair makes for a great listener. This is our dad's old chair, apparently.
Whenever Luca saw his dad's chair by the pond, it reminded him of the days they'd pack up a couple of sandwiches and fish until sundown.
Wow. So we used to come fishing with our dad. Aw. It's Dad. Go pick out your bait from the tackle box, Buckaroo. Okay.
Luca opened the tackle box and picked the perfect bait.
Junk and tickle.
Luca tied a shoestring to the hook. What fish could resist a nice shoestring?
Okay. Can we change it?
Luca gently baited a feather onto the hook. Good for skimming the surface.
I guess maybe we don't have the right word. Oh, okay.
Luca gently baited for
All right.
skimming the surface.
We're gonna try that again. How do I do this?
Luca
Maybe I
checked
hold the
first.
button? Oh, okay. Interesting.
Luca gently good for
All
their
right,
stomach.
we'll get this. I know we will. I'm not sure how, though. Oh, hey, look. We got a rubber duck. Well, I'll be switched. It's your old rubber ducky. You were just a little drooling ball of fur when you lost that. Cried for days. I told you to turn up. What about the other one?
Luca
What if
tied
we
a
use
shoestring.
junk?
Fish could resist.
What fish could resist a nice shoestring? I'm pretty sure most fish. We got the strat now. All we gotta do is carefully haul the fish in, little by little. We got a boot. Okay. Where do you think the other one is? Hard to say. Sometimes things drift away. That's not fair. No, it's not. Well, wherever it is, I hope the other boot has at least a sock to keep it company. Interesting. Okay, so we only have 2 words that we can use here. I'm wondering if we need to get more words so we can do more things here.
Luca tied a shoe.
Because we've already done these 2 and we got 2 items. So I think maybe the more items we get, the more we can do this. I wonder if it's like a side mini game type thing. So we'll have to pick up some more stuff. A lot of scary faces. Let's see. Little ditch. Oh, it's water. Got it.
The boys had a good thing going. As long as they kept old Jeff happy. They had an endless source of precious materials to add to the treehouse.
Okay. Jeff is the old fisherman. Alright, we're in the treehouse. And we can lounge to our heart's content. Nice. Let's see what we got.
After
Got
Luca's father had
this.
passed, Rollo became obsessed with them building their own Hank atomic star scraper. It
Okay.
was some time before Luca realized it was Rollo's way of keeping him occupied.
So Rollo seems to be a good friend. Alright, that's how we get out of here.
On certain nights, when the clouds were just right, the boys could tune into strange patterns of static. Rollo thinks it's aliens. He
Of course.
always thinks it's aliens.
Of course. Do we have anything else going on? Or is it just talk to Rollo time? Oops. Oh, wait. This is a new area.
Luca looked up at the satellite dish. Rollo nearly killed himself putting that up into the tree.
Jeez. Pull. Okay.
While it didn't turn the radio into an interstellar communicator, as he'd hoped, it did at least boost the signal enough to overhear truckers one town over.
Well, that's cool, I guess. Alright, so we found a word up here, and that's about it. Time to talk to Rollo. Okay, what's this top secret's plan to start our summer? So, you know the abandoned warehouse by my place? The old Valentine building? Yeah, well, it isn't abandoned. What makes you think that? Get this. Last night it was glowing. Glowing? Are you sure? Kinda. Okay. That place has been empty since the foul harvest. Well, yeah. Who would even want to poke around that place? We would, Rollo. We would. Wait. It's just a busted old warehouse. I just meant we could do some research at the library. You actually want to go to the warehouse? What do you expect to find? Answers. My mom's out there somewhere. And it seems like everyone wants to pretend that she's gone for good. You don't have to come, Rollo, if you don't want to. Luca, remember that time I sorta accidentally burned down the chicken coop? And you jumped in and said it was your fault before my pa throttled me? This is a flaming chicken coop sorta deal. I got your back. Thanks, Rollo. Now that I think about it, poking around a decrepit fertilizer warehouse is exactly how I want to spend the first day of my summer. Let's go! Just jumps. Just choom, gone. Rollo, how do I get to your house, fam? Alright, so if we find any more things that could be used as bait, we should come here. We just started running, and, oh. What is going on over here? I'm just catching my breath a bit. Go on, I'll catch up. Okay, so our good friend Rollo is not good at breath control. Excuse me. Hey, Mrs. Nelson. Morning, Luca. Any plans for the big summer? Not really. Heard anything about the old fertilizer warehouse? Any strange happenings? Can't say I have. Either way, a dusty old warehouse is no place for a young boy. You be safe now. Can I go up into your house? Or this restaurant? What is this? Hey, Zariel. Hiya, Luca. Could you please tell this lazy butt to help out in the cafe? Lumi, Zariel would like you. Luca, let me give you a little gem of advice. If you never do what you don't love, then you'll never work a day in your life. Wow. You're really setting the kid up for success. Wow. Interesting. Piper? Oh, hey, Luca, what's up? You know it's summer break, right? Of course. And it's like the morning. Correct. And you're studying? Like they say, the early bird gets the proper education required for a successful and fulfilling career later in life. I don't think that's what they say. Yeah, I'm with Luca. Can I go inside? No. Okay. How about this one? Can I go in here? Oh, there's a thing.
Holden Wilder ran the local paper of record.
Okay.
The Beacon Beacon.
The Beacon Beacon. All right. Hey, Mr. Wilder. Morning, Luca. What's the day have in store for you? I don't really know any newscaster voices. I was wondering if you heard any news about... News? The Beacon Beacon knows the news that it needs knowing. Any news about the old fertilizer warehouse? Nope. Oh. Rollo thought he saw some lights there last night. Rollo ought to be careful poking around that part of town. The winds of change are blowing, and change is a dangerous animal. Interesting. Interesting. There's a person.
Miss Hatch could often be found near the fountain.
Okay.
Too absorbed in a book to be distracted.
Okay. The two wandered down the wooden path, unaware of the danger ahead. Oh, this is getting good. All right. Oh. Luca, just the fellow I was looking for. Hey, Roxy, what's up?
Oh, right. Rendezvous with Roxy. This is an important turning point.
Oh. Uh-oh.
The first time where your charms will change the course of fate.
Interesting.
Currently, we only have one suitable charm at our disposal. Have no fear, we can always return later using the Chronicle once we find more charms. Well, now I'm just rambling.
Okay.
Where were we?
Have you seen my blockhead brother today? He skipped out before breakfast. Well, not really, no. Can't say I have. Can't say or won't say. Roxy, would I lie to you? Luca, wait up! I almost forgot to tell you. Roxy might be lurking around here. This is one of her favorite places to stand around and be useless. Rollo. So we need to make sure she doesn't spot us. Rollo. Why are you doing that turning thing with your body? What, you're not scared, are you? She's harmless. And a chump. And she's right around that corner, isn't she? Well, we managed to get into trouble with Rolo. Apparently this is going to be a turning point right here where we run into his older sister. Her name is Roxy. Don't mind me, just over here lurking uselessly. Oh, hey, sis. Nice weather we're having, eh? I couldn't help but notice you snuck out this morning before breakfast. I wasn't hungry. Also, I couldn't help but notice your morning chores were left unchored. Roxy, I'm gonna level with you. I'm sick and tired of digging up carrots. We all gotta pick up the slack since the foul harvest. Almost every carrot I dig up is rotten. And the rest look like they were hit at Hank Atomic's shrink array. All the more reason to keep on digging. There's gotta be more to life than puny carrots. Look, Roxy, Luca and I have places to be, so if you don't mind. Oh, I do mind. I'm not gonna catch hell because of you. So either you march yourself home and harvest those carrots, or I'll haul you home myself. Oh.
Rolo froze as Roxy took a step toward him, cracking her knuckles.
Interesting.
Luca knew he had one chance to save his friend from being dragged home.
One chance. In the past, he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little... Alright, so the only word we have right now is chill. I have a feeling that's not the right word.
In the past, he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little chill.
I have a feeling it's wrong. Come on, Roxy. It's the first day of summer. The sun's shining, and we just want to take it easy. Let's leave tomorrow's problems for tomorrow. That's great and all, but Rolo's problems have a way of becoming my problems. And Pa always says tomorrow's work is best left for yesterday. March, you big oaf. Oh, rats. I expect a full report about the Valentine place. A full report! Alright. So, we have to go by ourselves. I have a feeling that we don't have to go by ourselves if we find a different word. So, Fitz, what are you up to this lovely day? Nope. Cool, cool, cool. Okay. We were going to ask her to go with us. She immediately said no. Alright, there's got to be somewhere around here with another word. Alright. Never underestimate what a great man can do given time.
A bit much.
What's up, nerd? We're playing a new game. You're not alone, I'm here? Thank you. Indulgent. Okay. So we are playing Beacon Pines. So far, it's a game where you change what's happening in the story because you found different charms, which in this case are words. Because I didn't get a chance to change. I came home and I came to see all of you. So, a watermelon. Look at this big old watermelon. We're smacking the melon. Yay! I'm not stinky. I was very clean today. Hey Griffin, how's the ice cream gig going? Not great. It's still pretty cold out. And I'm in the business of selling cold. I'm sure things will warm up soon. Mr. Tolliver is not at his grocery stand. Okay. He's preparing for the festival, I guess. Gotcha. Alright. Hey Bert. Hi Luca. I'm doing some fact checking for the town history exhibit. We did smack the watermelon. Look kid, I'm just here to pose the lights. But did you know, when the town was founded there were only 7 citizens? And they all worked for a mining company? there was only one dirt road leading to town, and there's still only one road leading. There's still only one road leading to town. Oh, right. I don't see any other things we could grab. And I have a feeling that if we tried to go back to the story and use the word we just got, yeah, she's gonna knock our lights out. Smack it again. Okay, hang on. We're gonna go back to the watermelon. Watermelon? Watermelon. Smack. 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 Smack, 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 smack. Smack that melon. That's how you know a watermelon's good. You smack it. Yay. I love his little jump. It's very cute. All right, let's go off in this direction. You're welcome. All right. Hey, Solomon. Apologies, no time for chit-chat. Bye, Solomon. Okay, I don't really see... Is it this, maybe? All right, there's a library. Library hasn't opened yet because it's still early as heck in the morning. There is a drugstore with a bulldog man outside. Hello, bulldog man. Oh, he's not a bulldog. He just is very fuzzy. I think he's a rabbit, actually. Luca, my boy, hold up a tick. Oh, hey, Mr. Nuncreed. I was just on my way to... I just sold the last jar of your grandmother's preserves. Can't stock the shelves fast enough, turns out. My throat's doing good. It's probably not going to be doing good if I keep doing all these voices, but, you know. Hey, that's great, but I'm actually... I guess Juniper will just have to swing by with more of her lovely jam. Uh-huh. Well, don't let this old man slow you down. You just remind her that she still owes me that dance.
A promise Gran regretted the second it was made.
Will do. No problem, old man. I'll tell my grandma you're looking for... She's a fine woman, that Juniper. Yeah, she's pretty cool, I guess. A real fine woman. I gotta go. Sweeter than any jam on earth. Yikes. Let me out of here. Really don't want to hear you talking like that about my grandma.
The booth was brand new. Part of Perennial Harvest's Beacon Pines Reborn initiative.
Interesting.
Didn't see much use.
Probably not. People don't need to call people. They just walk over to their house. Oh. Dark Forest. You got it. Oh. Oh, hey, Luca. Hey, Joey. How's the bug hunt going? Not great. Bugs have been shy this week. Bugs get shy? Oh, sure. Bugs aren't that different from people. Sometimes they just want to be alone. If you're going to Weep Wood, just be careful where you step. No bug crunching. Got it. Ugh. I have a feeling the first thing we're going to do is crunch on a bug. I'm not sure where we're supposed to be going, so we're just kind of wandering right now. Alright. Looks
After
like...
the foul harvest destroyed their wealth and reputation, the Valentines shuttered off their estate from the rest of town.
Okay, so there was a foul harvest, despite the fact that the...
over every other building in
Not really the founder of the town, but kind of the founder of the town was a big fertilizer baron. So...
both figuratively and literally.
Somehow, something went wrong, and that was the end of their reign, I guess. Okay, we cannot go into these flowers. We got to go into some flowers earlier, but not today. How about this door? Excuse me. Okay, nothing over here we can check out. I'm not sure where we're supposed to be going, so we're just kind of wandering around. I guess we can go in the woods a little bit.
The path led into a small hollow at the edge of Weepwood.
Okay. Okay, no turning back now. Caution, electrified fence. Is that sign new?
The fence thrummed with a gentle electric buzz.
Yikes. Okay, so what would Rolo do if he was here?
Luca often asked himself what Rolo would do, so that he could rule out that option.
Okay. I'm definitely not touching that thing. Interesting. Hmm? Oh.
As sparks flew from the fence, the light atop that section shut off. 2 bulbs remained.
Interesting. Okay.
One more
That's
to go.
2. Dig a hole and go under. I think we're short-circuiting it by throwing things at it. Was not the goal, but that's what we're doing, I guess. Alright, that didn't work.
The fence's
Alright.
buzzing gave
That had
way
no
to
rhyme or
silence.
reason. Okay, moment of truth. Okay.
Every kid in town knew the old Valentine Fertilizer building.
So we accidentally found the building.
Long abandoned, the warehouse once served as the industrial heart of Beacon Pines. Now, it stood only as a reminder of things left behind. The dormant building showed strange signs of life.
Okay, so Rolo wasn't exaggerating for once. What's going on here?
There was only one way to find out.
Alright. Something spooky's going
The water
on.
looked almost diseased. It flowed slowly into the woods.
Gross. We're walking through it. Probably not supposed to be walking in this water. But we're splashing around anyway.
The hose emitted a subtle sound. It was actively draining some kind of liquid.
Interesting. Okay. Probably shouldn't have gone this way. Locked.
Luca thought he heard faint sounds coming from the other side of the door. He pressed his ear against the cold metal to hear better.
A zipper?
The
Footsteps.
sound of footsteps grew louder.
Uh-oh. Hello? Oh! Shit. Wow. We got a new word, y'all.
The heavy steel door knocked Luca to the ground. Disoriented, he looked up to see an imposing figure silhouetted in a green glow. It lunged toward him. He tried to scramble away, but felt a gloved hand latch onto his ankle. Luca watched his fingernails leave trails in the dirt as the hand slowly dragged him back through the door, into the lab, into the green light.
This is a story about change?
This is a story about change. It was far from the sort of change Luca imagined for himself.
Uh-oh.
But change is, after all, a dangerous animal. The end?
Oh, man! Chat, we died!
Should have warned you about this. There are many paths that our story can take.
Okay.
Most will end in tragedy. But don't let that discourage you.
Most will end in tragedy. Jeez, okay.
We will find the ending that this story deserves. I
Wow.
just know it.
Okay.
From here on out, a charm will have a check mark when it's been used to its full potential at a given turning point.
Okay.
Now, let's try something different.
Absolutely. So we have some check marks, but we're like in the way. So I'm gonna scoot us over a little bit and try to scoot this down to the bottom. Okay. Alright, so if we go back, we can shit ourselves, I guess. I don't know. Okay. So if we go back to chill, we can do most of that over again. Okay. Oh, it was to be a little shit. Okay.
In the past,
All right.
he found the best way to deal with an enraged Roxy was to be a little shit.
Make a break for it. What have you done? We booked it, y'all. Oh my god. We kicked her. We kicked Roxy. I have a feeling that also results in death, but maybe a slower, more painful one. So, I think what happened in the last one was we said this is a story about change, and Luca changed just not how he wanted to. So I have a feeling that something happened in the building, and maybe we were like experimented on, or something happened to us in that building that caused us to change somehow. I mean, they were in helping you well today. I am doing pretty good. How are you? Welcome to Beacon Pines. This game is a little darker than I thought it was going to be honest. We just kicked our best friend's older sister so that we could escape from her. Run all you want, you little terps. Twerps, that's the word. You little twerps, you gotta come home eventually. We gave her an accent. It's not a very big one. Sorry! Oh my god. Okay, investigate with Rolo this time. Alright, so it is definitely a lot strange. We are not talking. No! No, not. Kinda in a hurry right now. Gotta go, bye! Sigh. Boy's got too much of his father in him. A real shame. Shame? I don't want shame. Shame is bad. Oh, I'll win. A little help. You're right, Rolo. Ah, I am a champion. We were racing? Did that road get longer? Like anything ever changes around here. It seems longer. You're just lightheaded from the run. You really need to pace yourself better next time. Not sure why I'd take advice from second place. Has that sign always been there? He's a something. I'm not sure if he's a fox, but he's a something. Maybe like a cougar? I don't know. It's hard to tell with that tail. Wait, what? Caution, electrified fence. No, that's definitely new. Creepy. How are we gonna get around that electric fence? Don't worry, I got this. Oh, oh my god. Why did you do that? Rolo, please. He's gonna get himself killed. Pa always said you can figure out what the plan was when you're done. Great. What now? Could be a fox. I don't know. We don't have them here. Well, I did my part and established that touching the fence is bad. I'm sure you can handle it from here. I'll supervise. Okay? From a safe distance. So, we learned last time that if we grab these, we can throw them somehow. Didn't really do a good job explaining where I'm throwing these. It just kind of, you're like Rolo real life. Okay. Wow, that didn't work very well. Looks like one of them's already out because he nobly sacrificed himself. We just kind of threw them. Whoa, you're a genius. Alright, I don't know about that. I'm just gonna throw him directly at it. I think that did it. Luca, you never fail to impress. Okay. Now last time we went to the door and out popped a scary man in a hazmat suit. Check it out. Dang, Rolo, you weren't exaggerating for once. Was there ever any doubt? This definitely needs investigating. Good thing us two ace detectives are on the case. You are silly, it's true. This is bizarre. This is awesome. Okay. There was a rumble. Did you feel that? What, the excitement in the air? You bet your butt I did. Check out this puddle. That's not normal. And this hose. Uh-oh. I have a bad feeling about this. Oh man, the door's locked. Try harder. No, don't try harder. We know what happened last time. No dice, it won't budge. Oh well. This dumpster's new, right? I bet it's got stuff in it. Can't really see what's in here. Who did all of this? My nose is itching. I think I smell treasure. Are you sure that isn't the hazardous waste? Just help me get in. Rolo, it would be my honor to throw you in the trash. I have a bad feeling about this. Come on, Lady Luck. So, what's in there? Let's see. It's a squishy bag of squish. Wow. A good inch of stagnant sludge. Your natural habitat. Wait, hold the phone. Hold two phones. Check out these bad boys. Are those walkie-talkies? Just like Hank Atomic communicators. Wow. Do these actually work? Ground command to Hank Atomic. Hank, do you read? This is Hank Atomic. Ground command, you're coming in 5x5. Huh? How are your vital readouts, Hank? It's getting a little stuffy in here. Requesting assistance for evac. Help is on the way. Aw. What was that? Someone's coming. Give me your hand. I'm trying. My hands are covered in squish. Scoot over. I'm coming in. Huh. It's that guy again. Tell me you saw that? Dude, I don't know what I saw. He's coming back it down. Are we gonna get covered in trash? Oh. Oh. What's in the bag?
The boy sat petrified under the weight of the bag.
God, tell me that's not what I think it is. Luca, do you know what separates run-of-the-mill detectives from ace detectives? A ridiculous hat? When the chips are down, ace detectives dig deeper for clues.
Rolo felt around at the large sack which burdened them.
Okay. Aha!
He snapped off a tag from just within a small zipper opening in the bag.
It's some sort of badge or something. What's it say?
Rolo held the badge up to a faint shaft of light within the dumpster.
Dr. Prescott, Deep Engineering. It's a name tag. Who would throw away a bag full of slimy old name tags? I think it's just one name tag and a bag full of something else. Okay. I think we should make a break for it. Stay calm. This is no time to panic. I'm not panicking. You're panicking. Rollo, calm down. You don't squeeze my hand so hard. Dude, I am not holding your hand. Quit messing around. What other slime-covered hand would be in here? Ah! Ah! Sorry for y'all's ears. I'm so sorry, Chad. I'm beginning to see the benefits of Run for a Life plan. Right, we've clearly established that I'm faster than you, so I'll go first. Why not go together? Flaming chicken coop, Luca. I'll make sure the coast is clear. Now, after I go, count to 100. If you hear me yell, run. If you don't hear me yell, run. Actually, either way, haul ass. Rollo, I'll give you credit. You sure found an eventful way to start our summer. It's what I do. Well, here goes nothing.
Lucas sat in the dark, tracking the sound of Rollo's footsteps as he ran. 1, 2, 3. He pressed his ear to the dumpster wall, straining to hear Rollo's footsteps as they faded away. 15, 16.
I really have to count to 100?
He tried not to think about the contents of the dumpster as he counted. 35, 36.
I would not count to 100. I would be out like a lightning bolt.
Screw it, that's long enough. Luca carefully lifted the lid and peered out. Nothing. No sign of Rollo. No sign of the man in the yellow suit. Time to haul ass.
Yeah.
Luca clambered from the dumpster, stumbling to his knees. He was up like a shot and running, sprinting toward home as fast as he could. Beacon Pines flew by, blurred by the tears that welled up in his eyes. He wouldn't remember getting home at all that night. Throwing his front door open, storming up the stairs to his room and surrendering to sleep almost as abruptly as he hit his pillow.
He's covered in gunk, though.
Chapter 3.
Yuck. Alright, we survived chapter 2, so that's
Finding a
good,
friend.
at least. Finding a
The
friend.
next morning, it was quieter than usual at the breakfast table. Only the sound of silverware and chewing interrupted the awkward silence.
We came home just... Rollo left us. So Rollo left first and just took off, and we got left in the dumpster to sit here and count to 100. We made it to like 40, and then we were like, that's enough time. I'm leaving. I'm running. So he just ran all the way home. So we don't know what happened to Rollo. We assume he made it home. And we just went inside and just passed out on the bed. So now we're here with our grandma. I finished jarring a mess of jam last night. Uh-huh. So that'll need to get delivered into town today. Okay. So, what did you and Rollo get up to yesterday? Oh, nothing interesting. The phone's ringing. Uh-oh. Hello? Just, I'm out of here. Yep. Oh no. Calm down. No, of course it was the right thing to do. Start gathering folks. I'll be right there. Are you sure there isn't anything you want to tell me about yesterday? Anything I want to tell you? Not really. We just sort of ran around a bit.
Gran's brow furrowed.
Uh-oh.
She let out a long sigh. Her voice was quiet and even.
I have to go take care of something. You are to stay in this house for the day. Under no circumstances are you to leave. What? If I'm not back by dinner, there's stew in the icebox. But nothing. You are to stay here, understand? Yeah. Say it. I'll stay here till you get back. Good. Interesting. Oh, and Luca, You left the icebox open yesterday. We're not made of money, you know. Did I? That was strange. Did I leave the icebox open yesterday? Oh, I think I did. Huh. I wonder if that changes things. She told us not to go outside when we immediately went to the backyard. I just want to see if there's like stuff going on. I gotta know. This is a interesting game.
A faint electronic sound floated in the air.
What? Is that coming from upstairs? What? Hello? Is anyone there? Huh? Hello? Rollo, is that you? Forgot about the walkie-talkie. Over? That was weird. Okay.
Luca glanced at the now silent walkie-talkie. He wasn't sure what to think.
Somebody's knocking on the door. Oh, hey, Roxy. This is about me, accidentally kicking you yesterday. Is Rollo here? No. Look at me, Luca. This is serious. Is Rollo here? No, I haven't seen him since yesterday. Is Rollo missing, y'all? Oh, no. Oh, come on. Rollo didn't come home last night. What?
A pit formed in Luca's stomach.
Where was the last place you saw him? We were playing around in Weepwood, and it was late, and we went home. Weepwood? If he's alive, I'm gonna kill that little creep. Is there anything else? Anything that he said?
Luca's mouth felt dry.
No, we were just messing around. Okay. I need to go let people know to check the woods. You just stay out of trouble. Go see if he's hiding in the library or something.
Luca could feel his heart beating in his throat.
Oh. Chat, Rollo's missing. Rollo. Where are you? Okay, so Grandma said not to leave the house, but Roxy said to go check the library for him. I wonder if we should listen to her or Grandma. I'm sure we're gonna get in trouble at some point for leaving the house, but the quest is to check the library, so we're gonna do that. All right, let's go to Beacon Pines. Let's go be useful and help with the search. Hey Bert, have you seen Rollo? Nope. Though I've mostly been talking to clipboards. They're setting up lots of stuff for the festival. This one said he had to process some answers. I told him that was fine. I'll wait right here until he gets back. F your grammar. Rollo's your best friend. You right. You right. Can I talk to this man? Apparently not. Hey you, have you seen Rollo? Howdy, Luca. Hello again, Pete. I'm not Pete, you silly goose. It's Toby. You could have fooled me. Well, hey, it's no problemo. The important thing is we'd love to hear your thoughts. Yeah, I'm getting that impression. We're all part of something special, Luca. And it all starts right here in Beacon Pines. I got it.
Toby looked up from the clipboard excitedly.
That's right. So how about you start by telling me? Look, no offense, but I've got my own stuff to take care of. Aw, you joker. We're all part of this together. You'll let us know when you're free to answer a few questions. We really need to get back to work. Just a couple more minutes. Roxy said she will be here, then she will be here. I just don't see why I'm standing around, doing nothing, and waiting for Roxy, when I could be standing around, doing nothing, and getting paid for it. Come on, Lumi, Roxy needs our help. My parents wouldn't listen. No offense, but isn't Rollo always getting into trouble? Something feels different this time. What can we do to help? We need to check where the adults aren't. So I guess it's up to us to check out Weepwood. Our shift isn't in for another couple hours. We could spend the time making posters. That would be great, I guess. Right, Fitz and I will check Weepwood, and we'll be back later to pick up the posters. I think my dad has a map of Weepwood. Let's swing by my house and grab it before we head out. Right? Okay. So we're gonna go check out the library. And I guess we'll talk to people along the way. What's this about a missing child? I must stress that the situation is completely under control. It all seems so terrible. And you're sure there's nothing we can do to help? Nonsense. Young Mr. Cotter will turn up safe and sound. I am certain. Just focus on settling in. I trust my sister has supplied you with suitable lodging. Oh yes, Miss Valentine has been more than accommodating. We're just telling our daughter Beck that... Our daughter Beck. Now where did she run off to? Last Chance Diner? Okay. There's something on the ground here. Oh my. Believes the danger he's in. Grandma, are you giving us hints there? I don't know if she's actually a grandma, but... Oh, man.
Jeff's hardware closed down about a year ago. The effects of the foul harvest stretched wide. When there are no crops in the field, tractors don't need fixing.
Fair enough. Wait. Okay, so there's something on the ground here. And then there's something on the ground there. Alright, to the library. I don't see anybody in here.
Otto volunteered at the library during the summers. He wasn't very social, so he'd dedicate each summer to becoming an expert in a single subject.
Interesting.
Making him a reliable source of very particular knowledge.
Fair enough.
If you were to ask Kato something he didn't know, he'd escape into the dusty old bookshelves and return with just the right thing.
Okay. Hey, Kato.
Kato was lost in his reading. Luca crooked his neck to see the title. Introduction to Melitology.
I have no idea what kind of voice to give him. Good book? Dunno, just started it.
He gestured to the shelves.
I'm really running out of books I haven't read yet. So now it's on to the wonderful world of bees. Turns out bees are pretty cool. For instance, did you know that around 70% of bee species actually live in underground tunnels? Or if there are two queens in a hive, they will fight to the death for supremacy?
Oh, my goodness. That's interesting, but you haven't seen Rollo around recently, have you?
Not since yesterday.
Keep an eye out for him, okay?
Sure thing. If you see him, you'll be the first to know.
Gross. That was a bad pun. Hey, Jace. Oh, hey, Luca. Did Rollo come by? Huh. Sorry. No. I was actually surprised. He's usually here early on days when a new issue drops. Rollo's the biggest Hank Atomic fan I know. Besides myself, that is. Well, if he does swing by, tell him to meet me you know where. I don't know where. No, but he knows where. Oh, roger that, Space Cadet. Okay.
The bottom corner shelf was a dusty array of thick science books. Only one binding was clean enough to read. Cellular biology and the chemistry of mitosis.
Okay. Boring. Fair enough.
Mycological phosphorescence.
Ugh. More like my complete loss of interest. Oh, wow. These are terrible.
The entire top level of the library was
devoted to comics. Okay.
Most of which were
Hank Atomic and their myriad of lesser revered spin-offs. Okay. I'm sure she could have read that and I could have let her. But instead. Okay. Nothing up here. Oops. Trying to see if there are any words in here.
Oh, the cobs I've eaten.
Oh, the cobs I've eaten.
A salad-centric travel guide for the mildly adventurous.
Yuck.
Sally Seashore's simple succulent sundries. Luca brushed off a smudge of dust. Or maybe it was flour. 30 recipes so easy you'll doubt it's even edible.
Huh. Succulent. Interesting.
A peek behind the curtain. The methods and ruminations of Patrick C. Montesquieu. One of the greatest acting minds of our time.
Interesting.
Patrick
C. Montesquieu. Yeah, that makes sense.
There were rarely any actual new additions. Simply a variety of existing content rotated into the front display each week.
Not fooling anyone. Okay, so Rollo's not here. Oh, hello. Sort of monster puts candy behind a locked door. Oh yeah, Mr. Nuncreed works weird hours sometimes. Of course he does. How about you? When do I work? Oh, what's your name? Luca Van Horn. You new here? Yep, not by choice.
Beck's family moved often.
Oh,
giving her little time to establish any real connections.
Alright.
She would tell you she prefers it that way.
Okay. I'm looking for my friend Rollo. He didn't come home last night. So he's missing? I guess so. Like, missing? Does that sort of thing happen a lot around here?
Luca shifted his feet uncomfortably.
Well, that sucks. Yeah. So I should probably get going. Hey, wait up. What?
Beck pulled a coin from her pocket.
I'm coming with you. What? So says the unlucky penny. Unlucky? Well, technically land on heads, leave this kid to find his friend alone. But I always do the opposite. Oh, that's kind of like me and Rollo. I guess Rollo is my unlucky penny. That settles it. A person should never be without their unlucky penny. Let's go find him. We're gonna need a voice for her if she's gonna tag along. Dang it, what is Beck's voice gonna be? I have no idea. Pleasure to meet you, Beck. I suppose I could use some help. Try to keep up. Well, if she's gonna be our friend, she needs a name, or a voice rather.
Luca peeked up at the beehive. It appeared to be deserted.
That's strange. Weren't there bees yesterday? Oh, interesting. They boarded up the way in. Can we throw this at anything? Let's see. So I'm guessing we need to find... Oh, what is that on the ground? We need to find an alternative way in.
Chill as he approached Beck. Her eyes were locked on the strange green liquid. The nearby grass was coated in a fine layer of frost.
Is this sort of thing normal around here? Besides puddles, or because puddles of glowing ooze are definitely not what I expected from this place. I have no idea what that stuff is. Well, the next obvious step is science. What does science suggest? Poke it with a stick. Okay. Oh.
Luca watched as Beck dipped a broken tree branch into the goo. Beck's eyes widened as flowers grew from the dead wood. First small buds, which quickly bloomed into vibrant petals.
Okay. It's the opposite of what I thought it was gonna do. That's for sure. Cool.
As quickly as they had grown, the flowers began to shrivel and turn gray.
Oh, that's more like what I
Beck
thought.
dropped the stick with a grunt of disgust.
Okay. So science tells us this gunk is weird as hell. Yeah, sounds about right. Yeah, it seems dangerous. Hey, Tish, look what the cat jogged in. Yep. I don't have time for this right now, Iggy. Aw, don't say things like that. It hurts Tish's feelings. Isn't that right, Tish? Yep. She looks fine to me. Why, hello. I don't think we've been properly introduced. Iggy's the name. This is my compatriot, Trish. Yep. You've probably heard of us. Can't say I have. I'll forgive you just this once on account of you being new around here. Why would you hang out with this dude? Oh, dud. Sorry. Oh, he seems pretty alright. Iggy, why do you have to be so you? Has he even told you his parents skipped out on him? Iggy, that's rude. One of my parents is dead. Shut up. It's true. They got tired of having such a pathetic kid and left him. Iggy, my dad is under the ground. Iggy, I'm only going to say this one time. Don't talk about my family. Ha ha ha. Well, look, he's grown a backbone now that his girl's around. First, his pops croaked. Then his mom finally couldn't take it anymore and bounced. Oh.
Iggy took a step towards Luca, his sneer lit by the glowing puddle.
Oh, Iggy is a boy.
Beck could see tears welling in Luca's eyes, his fists clenched.
Oh, we about to fight.
Some things about Beacon Pines were very different from the city.
Wow.
But a bully from a hayseed town is really no different from a city bully. Beck took a deep breath and thought.
Well, time to bust out the tickles or the strange. Okay, so Beck can either tickle somebody or just be weird as heck. I'm gonna try tickles.
Well, time to bust out the tickles.
Thought we were gonna fight. Want to see something cool? Yup. Check it.
Beck lunged forward and began to tickle under Tish's arms.
What the? Tish, is she tickling you? Yep. Hey up. Hey up.
Tears began to form in Tish's eyes as she gasped for breath between gales of laughter.
Hey up, hey up, hey up.
Beck redoubled her efforts until Tish finally had had enough.
Hey up. What just happened? She seems nice. Sorry for the interruption. I think you were just threatening us.
Iggy's eyes darted around, a realization dawning on his face that he was now outnumbered.
I just remembered. I have somewhere to be. Stay around, new kid.
Iggy kicked at the puddle before making his escape.
Uh-oh. Whoa. What a little creep. Beck, I think you got a little ooze in your hair.
Beck shook the ooze out of her hair as best as she could.
Is it bad? Depends. What are your feelings about having a more mature, refined look? Oh, God.
Chapter 4. The Best Policy. Luca paused for a moment, catching his breath. He'd only just met Beck, and somehow he already managed to drag her into this mess. Hopefully he could make it up to her, but finding Rollo was his primary concern.
Alright, so Beck just ran off. Can we... Oh, interesting. So we can go back and pick Strange.
Well, time to bust out the Strange.
Alright, Luca. Looks like you need a mud bath. What's wrong with you, new kid? We're about to pound your friend.
Beck stared in silence, the only sign of life being the twitch of an eye.
That's weird when people don't talk. Yep. Stop being a weirdo. Hello? Are you some kind of wackadoo? Makes sense. Wackadoos travel in packs, eh, Dad?
At the sight of Iggy taunting Beck, something in Luca snapped. Iggy's smirk shifted to a look of shock as Luca launched himself into his stomach.
Uh-oh. Arg!
Iggy's clothes were drenched in the glowing ooze.
Uh-oh. You jerk. My clothes are ruined. I'm gonna...
Iggy's voice began to slur as he struggled to get up.
Uh-oh. I don't feel so good. Oh my god. Oh. I'm sorry, I just... Oh shit. Yup. Uh-oh. That was intense. Iggy's gonna be okay, right? Nothing about this seems okay.
The person at the warehouse. The strange ooze and what it did to Iggy. Was Rollo caught up in all of this?
We have to find Rollo. Get the words out of my mouth. Oof. I almost want to go back, but I don't want to go without Beck. Oh, I don't know what to do, chat. Oh, I don't know what to do. I don't think we can go anywhere else over here. I'm gonna find out that Iggy died. Oh. Well there, little buddies. You startled me. What in the dickens are you up to in this part of town? We were just helping look for Rollo. Oh, you haven't heard the good news. Rollo showed up safe and sound a bit ago. Really? Where was he? It's funny, really. He just got a little turned around in the woods. They can be disorienting, you know. Starting to get that impression. Rollo's at his house now, getting some well-deserved rest. Wow, that's a relief. You should just scurry along before you get lost yourselves. Yeah, come on, Beck. I can't wait to introduce you to Rollo. Oh, that reminds me. Luca, your grandmother was looking for you. She was worried sick. You should march straight home. I guess. Beck, your folks might be getting worried too. I'll walk you home. Now I need to talk with Nellie about work anyway.
Beck glanced toward Luca.
I guess all's well that ends well. I'll introduce you to Rollo tomorrow. Sure. Glad he's okay. Oh. I have so many bad feelings. I have a bad feeling about that guy. Rollo was safe.
Relief washed over Luca, which was quickly replaced by a sense of dread.
Grandma said not to leave the house, but we left the house.
Brian is going to kill me. If he hurried, he might just make it home before sundown. Chapter 4. Our harvest awaits.
Oh.
Luca took a deep breath and gingerly opened the door, steeling himself for Gran's wrath.
Gran? I'm home. Everything's fine. Gran? Oh, I have a bad feeling about this. I wonder if by splashing that kid, we have another death ending. Gran? I know I wasn't supposed to go anywhere. I was just helping look for Rolo. Gran? Gran? Roxy came over. She was worried about him, so I figured you wouldn't mind if I helped look for him. Turns out Rolo is safe and sound.
Luca was alone. The house was empty.
So Gran's not back yet. I guess that's a good thing. Nothing to do now but sleep, I guess. Sleep? Your grandmother is missing now.
Luca was sitting by the pond, listening to small waves lap against a rock. His father sat in a folding chair in front of him. Without turning, he spoke. "Why don't you grab me some nice bait?" "Sure thing, Dad." Luca hopped over to the tackle box and popped open the lid. Inside was a rolling, buzzing mass. "We're fishing with bees?" Luca's father gave a warm chuckle. "Well, you catch more fish with bees than honey. Pick us out a good one." Luca closed his eyes and plucked out a bee. He could feel its wings struggle between his finger and thumb. Holding it at arm's length, he hurried over. His father deftly baited the hook and examined his work. "Interesting choice." With a practiced flick of the wrist, the line buzzed in a graceful arc.
I don't like this music.
The water accepted it without a splash or ripple. The wrong choice, but I respect it. The pond began to freeze over. Sometimes we gotta make the wrong choice before we can make it right. Pallid ice propagated across the still surface with an alarming speed. Luca scrambled back as the ground beneath him turned cold. "Dad, I don't understand."
Yeah, me either.
"Sorry, kiddo. Understanding isn't always part of the deal." The relentless ice shot through the fishing line toward his father. "Dad, look out!" His father casually wound the reel. "None of it's your fault, you know. Never was." "Dad, we have to go." Luca grabbed his father's shoulders, trying to pull him away. "Please, you have to run." The ice crackled as it spread across his father's hands. "That's the thing about fishing, Luca." His chest began to crystallize. "You toss your hook in, and you never know what you're gonna pull out." A shock of searing cold ran up Luca's arms. He gave one last desperate tug. The chair tipped backwards in a single frozen mass. Luca tried to stop the momentum.
Oh no.
But it was too late.
He's having a nightmare about his dad.
Slam into the hard ground, shattering into 1,000 pieces that crowded around his feet.
Oh, jeez.
"Dad, I don't understand. What does all this mean?" The gentle rustle of leaves was the only reply.
Luca, wake up. Oh.
Luca's eyes struggled to focus on the walkie-talkie.
Hello?
Faintly, he could hear Rolo amongst the noise.
Luca. Hello, is that you? Luca. There? Rolo, it's the middle of the night. Luca, thank God. Listen. I don't know how long this will work down here. Down here?
Rolo's voice was coming through more clearly now, but some words were still just static.
Uh-oh. Listen to me. Someone grabbed me yesterday. What? The man in the hazmat suit? I think I'm underground. Underground? Are you okay? Kinda. They seem more interested in... For now, at least. Mr. Kerr said you made it back home safe. Kerr? No. Trust. He's... Shh. Hold on, someone's coming.
The signal went silent.
Rolo? Excuse me. Rolo, where are you?
Luca held still, waiting for a response. His pounding heartbeat marking the passage of time.
Okay, I think they're gone. Shh, getting worse. I can barely hear you.
Rolo's voice began to fade.
Shh, losing signal. Not much time. Mission control. You need to the treehouse. The treehouse.
With that, the signal died for good.
What was he trying to say about the treehouse? What's at the treehouse? The antenna! He wants me to use the antenna in the treehouse to get a better signal. Rolo, you're a genius.
Luca grabbed the walkie-talkie and sprinted to the treehouse.
Where is our grandma? That was not established. Where is grandma?
Luca heard a group of footsteps approaching.
Uh-oh.
He dashed behind the bushes to avoid being spotted.
The townspeople. So we all understand our roles. You can count on me. I think we need more time. This wasn't the original plan.
Mr. Tolliver paused, shifting his eyes to one side.
We're all in danger now. I, for one, refuse to sit idly by while that danger persists. Hiram, you just keep your wits about you.
Mr. Tolliver took one long, quiet breath.
You're right. You can count on me. I just wish we could have made that deal with Eris Valentine. Her resources would have still come in handy. As I said, I had no time to contact her after your call this morning. Plans change. How's Luca holding up? He's fine. Shouldn't lose sight of the fact that this is all... I know very well what all of this is for. We have no choice. Operation Sparkplug has a new objective. Are we in agreement?
The three shared a determined look.
What is happening? Good. We'll reconvene after the festival. What is happening? Oh my goodness. Ugh. I'm so invested. Did Grandma see us? Gran. Why are you meeting with Mrs. Fratelli and Mr. Tolliver late at night? Hey, Luca! Gah! Dawn, you scared me! How long have you been there?
Oh, just a few minutes. Earlier today I saw Mr. Tolliver and your grand enter the diner together. When my shift at the newsstand was over, they still hadn't left. So I used the greatest tool of any investigative reporter. Time. When they left, I tailed him here.
What do you think they're up to?
Whatever it is, they seem to be organized and determined.
They mentioned the festival.
Yeah, I heard of that too. Has your grand been doing anything different recently? Anything strange?
She got a phone call this morning and rushed out the door.
A call from Hiram Tolliver, it seems.
She was either furious or terrified. Or both.
Luca, be careful out there. I think we might be in the middle of the scoop of a lifetime.
I will. Aren't you coming out?
No, I'm gonna stick out here for a bit longer. See ya, Luca.
I just wanted my best friend back. Oh, there's cops. Pickler's Pond. Alright, that guy's gone, so I'm guessing we can't... Oh, no, we can. We just interact with the chair. Ooh, we have some new stuff.
Luca tied a small magnet to the line. Fishing with the law of attraction.
Alright. Let's try it. key. Where do you think the lock is for this key? Now, why would we want to find that? Because then we would know the secret. Gah, that's no fun. The second we know what it unlocks, it just becomes a boring old key. Right now, this key can unlock anything. Cool. This is so nice.
Lucas
I don't know why we're
stuck a
doing it,
toy
but-
stretchy hand onto the hook.
Okay.
Those things
For the
always get
smack.
dirty anyway.
Hello. We are almost 2 hours into this game. It's Beacon Pines. And so far, it has been nutsy cuckoo. Thank you. I needed that. I was talking too much. Man, I am... Ugh.
Lucas
Look,
stuck a toy stretchy.
we-
Things always get dirty anyway.
We've had so many things happen. Honestly, I don't even know where to start. Our dad is unfortunately deceased. Our mom is missing. Our best friend is missing and possibly stuck in an underground place somewhere. We went searching for him and we met the new girl, and then we got bullied, and then we pushed the bully into some ooze, and then something happened to the bully, and now we don't know what's happening. And right now we're in some sort of like past memory dream area that we can use random words and things that we get to find things in the pond. We found... Should we give it to Mom? She likes jewelry. That's a sweet thought, Buckaroo. I'm not sure she'd fully appreciate a pond bracelet. Alright, so we've got a rubber duck, a bracelet, a key,
Luca placed a
and I
signal
forgot
on
what the
line.
first thing was.
Sometimes the best stuff is at the bottom of the pond.
Okay. I'm not sure why there's a fishing minigame. I guess it's for the completionists out there, which I didn't mean to behave like one, but okay. Some kind of bottle. Oh, Malice 80 proof whiskey. A hard liquor for a hard man. Best leave that be. Takes a real piece of work to leave something like that lying around. Okay, so we have gathered several trinkets over here. This is our dead father. And we're gonna get out of here and go back to our mission, which is to go to our treehouse and use the antenna to try to communicate with Rollo better. Alright. So we hooked it up to the radio in the treehouse, which apparently sometimes gets trucker traffic. Rollo, are you there? I'm at the treehouse now, Rollo. Mr. Kerr said you were alright. What happened out there? Oh, dang it, Rollo, where are you? I don't like this zooming thing it's doing. Who's there?
Luca could only see a cloaked shape behind the rocket.
I've got weapons in here. You better come out right now.
He strained to hear as a muffled voice began.
Weapons? How could you hurt something that's already dead?
Fear gripped Luca's throat.
Who are you? What, you don't recognize me? I don't even recognize myself anymore.
Luca stared at the ground for a moment, trying to place the dampened voice.
Is it the bully?
The figure shifted slowly from behind the rocket, revealing itself to Luca.
Oh my god, it is the bully! So we accidentally pushed him into the pond, and he is kind of screwed up. I'm a monster. And now they hunt me like the beast I am. Iggy.
Luca reached over empathetically. Iggy's tone jolted to dejected anger.
Don't touch me. This is all your fault.
Luca slumped to the ground, overwhelmed by guilt.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. I lost control. So you couldn't control yourself for a second? And I get to be like this forever? There must be a way to fix this. Oh, you're gonna be my savior? Perfect little Luca saves the day. With his positive attitude and the power of friendship. So I've been paying attention to what they're saying, and unfortunately not as much to chat. So you're saying that you think he deserved it, 100%. You came at the perfect time because this is where you stopped. You were happy to see him like this. Not gonna lie, he was a freaking bitch. Okay, alright. None of this matters. There's no time. They're after me. They chased me all through Weep Wood. I only came here to hide. Hide from who? Who's after you? Luca! Luca! Rollo? It's not safe, Luca! I forgot what voice we gave him. Hang on. Oh, thank you. It is my scrub top. I didn't change after work. Rollo, where are you? The treehouse. I'm at the treehouse, Rollo. Where are you? No, Luca, the treehouse isn't safe. I forgot. They said they were going to the treehouse. I was trying to tell you to stay away from the treehouse. Who said they were going to the treehouse? The clipboards. What'd I tell ya? Those perennial harvest wackadoos are after me. They've been chasing me, yelling questions at me. What sort of questions? They're always saying the same stuff they always do. But it's different now. Less asking, more threatening. We're gonna figure this out, Iggy. Yeah, well, thanks. Hello? Is anyone present in this arboreal domicile? Crap, they found me. Luca, what's happening? Don't panic, you stay here and I'll see what they want. Oh my god! That's a lot of them. That's a lot of them. And that is creepy music starting in the background, I hear. Okay. We would love to hear your thoughts. Do you have time for an informal chat? So we will be brief. Your time is valuable to us. Be down in just a second. Of course, of course, of course, of course, of course. You have a problem. Luca, you gotta get out of there. Who's out there? Is it them? Yeah, it's the clipboards. A bunch of them. How many? Maybe all of them? And yeah, you were right. They're saying the same stuff, but with creepy knob cranked to 10. Might young Izzy be present? Iggy, sorry. We would love to hear his thoughts. Run!
Iggy slumped to his knees.
I don't know what to do. I'm just so tired. Luca, what do we do?
Luca grabbed the walkie-talkie and headed for the window.
Follow my lead.
Luca and Iggy climbed up the back of the treehouse to its roof, where Rollo had constructed his MCDC, the Mission Control Defense Cannon.
What?
Behind the crowd of clipboards, William Kerr strode forward, a warm smile on his face.
Iggy, there you are. You gave us all a heck of a scare. Go away, just leave me alone. I'm sorry, Iggy, but no can do. Don't worry, though, we're here to help. Help? Then why are you chasing me? Luca, can you talk some sense into your pal here? Just look at him. He's not well. What's wrong with him? What did that gunk do to him? Well, that's a pretty big honking question there, Luca. All you need to know is that he's sick. He's real sick, Luca. I just need you to let us up there and take care of him. He told me Rollo was okay, that he was back at his place resting. He is, poor fella, just got a little lost. That's a lie. That is a hurtful thing to say, Luca. I thought we were buddies. Why, because he lets you ramble on like a wackadoo? Nobody likes you, you creep.
Kerr's smile faltered.
Why don't you pop on down here so we can have a face-to-face? Yelling like this is gonna give us all a heck of a sore throat. And who wants that?
Luca's grip tightened on the MCDC.
Do we have a gun? What'd you do to Rollo, you liar? Well, shucks, Luca. Only the teeny tiny fib I told you was that he was at home. He is resting and he's perfectly safe. For now, at least. What happens to him next is up to you, Luca. Look around. You're in quite the pickle, and I'm the only person in the whole wide world who can help you. You get to decide how this ends.
His mind raced. He was caught in a trap. What do you do when there's no hope? Iggy wiped his cheeks with a sleeve. What are you gonna do, Luca?
I don't know. Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. Fight.
Luca drew himself up and decided to take the only option they had left. Fight. He swung the mission control defense cannon around, aiming it confidently at the smirking face of William Kerr.
Hey, Mr. Kerr.
Luca summoned his most insolent demeanor.
Rollo sends his regards. Hey! That was uncalled for, more than a little rude, and just plain unsanitary. Luca, I really did think we were good pals. What a shame that it's come to this.
Kerr turned his back on the two boys.
End this.
With a nonchalant wave of the hand, he made his exit.
Can't really see the nonchalant wave of the hand.
As the clipboards began to slowly advance on the treehouse, Luca looked to Iggy with resignation in his eyes. The end. That escalated quickly. Maybe discretion was the better part of valor here. Let's put a pin in this for now.
Wow. MCDC was a death ending. Not great. We've seen Strange to its end. We haven't seen Tickle to its end. Alright, let's go to do the Tickle again. And then if we do that, that affects... let's just replay the branch.
Time to bust out the tickles.
Hey Tish, wanna see something cool? Yup. Check it.
Beck lunged forward and began to tickle under Tish's arms.
What the? Tish, is she tickling you? Hey up. Hey up. Hey up.
Tears began to form in Tish's eyes as she gasped for breath between gales of laughter.
Hey up, hey up, hey up.
Beck redoubled her efforts until Tish finally had had enough.
Hey up. What just happened? She seems nice. Sorry for the interruption. I think you were just threatening us.
Iggy's eyes darted around, a realization dawning on his face that he was now outnumbered.
I just remembered. I have somewhere to be. Mm-hmm. See you around, new kid.
Iggy kicked at the puddle before making his escape.
Ah, rude. Whoa. What a little creep. Beck, I think you got a little ooze in your hair.
Beck shook the ooze out of her hair as best as she could.
Is it bad? It depends. What are your feelings about having a more mature, refined look? Oh god.
Chapter 4. The best policy.
Okay, so this way the chapter 4 is called the best policy. The other way chapter 4 is called
Luca paused for a moment,
our
catching his
harvest or
breath.
something.
He'd only just met Beck, and somehow he already managed to drag her into this mess.
Poor Beck.
Hopefully he could
She's
make
been
it up to her.
splashed.
But finding Rollo was his primary concern.
Okay, so now we're back in it. We are still looking for Rollo. So all we know right now is that Rollo is missing. We've seen what happens in the other ending. Oh. Luca, what are you doing out here? Why did a kid with gray hair just run past us in a panic?
Roxy and Fitz looked drained. It was clear they'd spent all day searching.
That's Beck. I don't care who she is. What happened? We're just helping her look for Rollo. Luca, I need you to start telling me the truth.
Roxy's temper could often be dismissed as the impatience of an older sibling. But this was the most intense Luca had ever seen her. Her eyes were wild and unfocused, looking straight through Luca.
We're running out of time.
In a torrent of rambled words and tears, Luca broke down.
Rollo and I weren't just playing in Weepwood yesterday. We were investigating lights at the old Valentine warehouse. But someone was there in a strange suit, and we hid in the dumpster, and a heavy bag dropped on us, and I think it was a body, and so we ran and we got split up, and I ran home, and that's all my fault. And now my best friend may never come back. Wow. Just wow.
Roxy, still exhausted and angry, softened briefly as her eyes hunted the ground in thought. With a determined sigh, she looked up at Luca.
It's not your fault, Luca. Rollo's gonna be okay, I promise.
Roxy drew herself up.
I'm gonna fix this. Luca, go home. But I wanna help. It's too dangerous for a kid. I can't just sit around, I have to do something.
Roxy tried to think of the safest place to send Luca.
You go back to that little treehouse you two like to play in. Wait there in case Rollo shows up. Sound like a plan?
Luca wiped his cheeks and gave a quick nod.
You did the right thing telling me the truth. Now scoot. You really believe his story? What other option do we have? Things may have been strange around here leading up to the festival. Dad has been acting weird lately. Well, weirder than normal.
Looking into the puddle, Roxy rubbed her arms to warm up.
Why is it so cold here? This place gives me the willies. Y'all please get away from that goo. Alright, so we have a new mission. So in this route, the bully has not been doused.
Mr. Nuncree jumped with a start.
Oh, don't sneak up on an old fella like that. Sorry, who were you talking to? What?
Luca motioned to the phone booth.
Oh no, I was just checking because I thought I heard it ring. A dang thing never does, of course. I've never seen anyone use it, really. Whole thing's a waste of money, if you ask me. Any word from Rollo yet? Not yet. Long time for a boy to lose his way. Rollo knows this wood's too well to get lost. I suppose you're right. Silly boy's antics will have this whole town worried sick. Antics? We all know Rollo likes to play his little pranks. You think this is a prank? What other possible explanation could there be? He's not playing a prank and he didn't get lost. Someone took him, I know it. How would you know that? Unless... Luca, is there something else you know?
Mr. Nuncree gently placed one of his substantial hands on Luca's shoulder.
Dang it, boy, if there's something you know, something that could help your friend, you need to tell folks.
Luca peered up at Mr. Nuncreed. Kind eyes warmed a stern face. There was a deeper emotion hiding beneath it all. It was subtle, but Luca could sense something eating away at him.
There was a blank lurking behind those eyes. Shame.
There was a shame lurking behind those eyes.
Mr. Nuncreed, did you?
A deep sadness. If Mr. Nuncreed was that worried about Rollo, maybe he could help.
I have a bad feeling about this. Yesterday, Rollo and I were messing around at the old Valentine warehouse.
Mr. Nuncreed raised an eyebrow.
Both of you? You were with Rollo when he went missing? Not exactly. I was hiding in the dumpster. The dumpster? What were you doing in there? At first we were just looking around, and then someone in a strange yellow suit came and dumped something on us. We both got scared and ran. It was the last I saw of him. You got scared by some garbage? Well, that's why you don't go skulking in someone's dumpster. But it wasn't garbage. I think it was a body. I'm sure it was just some trash. Oh, there was a name tag. It said Deep Engineering.
Mr. Nuncreed's shoulders slumped.
I wish you wouldn't have said that.
A deep sigh bellowed from his chest.
Why did you have to? I tried, Luca. God knows I tried to keep you safe.
Luca attempted to take a step back, but Nuncreed's hand clamped down on his shoulder.
Where's Roxy? The you Van Horns just can't help yourselves, can you? We were all so close to being done with this.
With a firm shove, Nuncreed manhandled Luca into the phone booth.
What are you doing? It's out of my hands now.
The door latched shut with a mechanical hiss.
Shit.
As Luca pounded the glass, the floor dropped from under his feet. The inside of the phone booth was now a loose capsule plummeting at gravity's whim.
Dang it.
Luca winced and pressed his hands to the walls. As he braced for impact, the capsule hurried to a surprisingly smooth stop. He felt a cold rush of air and opened his eyes with hesitance. Two large figures in hazmat suits occluded his view.
Uh-oh.
Luca heard the deep, resigned voice of Mr. Nuncreed over an intercom. He knows too much. The end.
Dang it. We died again.
No,
Wait, no.
this isn't the end. I know there's still much more. Somehow this went wrong. Okay, let's try something else.
Whew. Gotta go like way, way back. Oh. Okay. I'm guessing we start here. But I don't know.
This
is the only other word we have.
Struggle. Luca could hear a machine humming somewhere nearby.
This was our first entrance where we got dragged in by the hazmat man.
He felt around wildly, searching for something, anything that could help. His hands found a hard object, maybe a tile? He yanked it free, lifting the cold stone. Let me go!
Alright, so we're
Swung the
fighting.
tile as hard as he could at the shape that still held fast to his leg. He heard the crack of glass as the stone hit the assailant's mask. With a muffled yelp, the hand let go. Luca was free and scrambled to the door. He never looked back once on the long run home.
Oh, snap. We made it home.
Everything's fine.
Everything's fine.
Morning, it was quieter than usual at the breakfast table. Only the sound of silverware and chewing interrupted the awkward silence.
Okay. So we've seen all of this. Uh-huh. Okay. What did we get up to yesterday? Rillo had things to do, so I just sort of poked around town. I've set the jam by the door, down by the front door. There's 2 batches to drop off. One for Mr. Tolliver at the Bag and Wag. Okay. Another for Miss Fratelli at the diner. Okay. Oh, and Mr. Nuncreed. He said he wanted some more. I suspected as much. Yes, he seems to have taken a particular interest in my jam. There's some extras in the basket for that enthusiastic gentleman. Alright. Just make sure Fratelli and Tolliver get the ones on top. No problem. Off with you now, while the day is still young. Oof. Wow, 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 wow. Who would have imagined that we would have gone back to this one after that whole branching narrative? Not me, that's for sure. So I'm not really sure how to save or any of that, but that is going to do it for me. I will definitely be picking this back up next Tuesday, maybe even sooner. I haven't really decided yet. So I appreciate everybody for tuning in, and I will see everybody Thursday evening around 6 p.m. Central. And I hope you have a great night. Get yourself lots of rest. Make sure to hydrate, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.